Okay, some updates have been going on and some interesting things have come about. So there's been some quite interesting realizations. So in some of the tests I've been doing, I've been creating backlinks from different places, and then finding out the biggest challenge is actually getting those backlinks invoiced for Google to see them. What I've worked out is here is and this shouldn't have been this should have been a clear from the start. Google's probably not going to index a page which doesn't have a lot of words on it. It's just they see it as not a lot of information, not a lot of service for their clients, and they may index start, so it'll be in the listing, and then it may even drop out. So then it doesn't create any value to your website. It doesn't create any value in the form of backlinks, and that's one thing I've been testing. I've been testing that and finding out that the working through different systems and that they're just not getting indexed at all. And I'm going to work through a different process knowing that now. I do believe I fail forward. So when you go and do something, you always learn something from it, one way or another. So
Hmm.
that's definitely a start. Some other questions have popped up in the group. There was a real interesting one around how can I humanize my AI content to be 100% original? And I looked at that and thought, "Oh, I see what's going on here. People are taking things that you've written and gone over to one of the free tools, which tests what the quality of your content, what AI content, what's the number, what percentage of your content is AI created." Now, I've done several events with different people, and they've all pretty much said the same thing. Those tools are not really worth what they're basically not even worth free entry because they don't have a benchmark to work from basically and
Hmm.
you'll go to one tool, it'll give you one leading, and at the same time the person I was watching an event, it was a live event. He actually said we've taken a piece of humanly original content and put it in some of these tools and it's come out as AI. Well, that's
Hmm.
100% wrong. So that's how much reliability can you put in some of these tools? So, and I see what the person was talking about, trying to get the AI, as humanized as possible. Now, in saying that, it's definitely look. I'm going to go through a little bit of a tool which I've been playing with. It's got all about free tools, and I'll show you, Tony, in a minute how I actually can create that humanized content. I know I did one within the course, and within creating that content using Otter AI, but I've also been playing with a little bit more with the power that's actually in Google Documents. It's so easy to use. It's pretty straightforward, and it's really good. So I'm gonna jump in that a little bit later. But ahead of time, one of my mentors that I follow on and off, who's been in the SEO space and been in the e-commerce space for years, said something really interesting this week. And he said that he's been running he's got an e-commerce store and he has a blog. Now the blog's got 300 posts in it. He's been running it for somewhere near 15 years. And he noticed particularly that the blog itself, the ranking and the traffic had dropped recently. At the same time, he noticed that his e-commerce store content has gone up. Now, his assumption is simply put that Google's AI algorithm, or the way they're working with content at the moment, they're taking a very broad brush approach. And I've also seen this as well with some of the God. Now all his content is humanly written, but the way he has put it down to is that if you have a real business in behind your website, you're going to get favored more than a straight blog. And you see Google, they do this. They take a broad brush approach and they put everyone in a similar bucket. They've always done this. And that way people that are necessarily doing things the right way get punished with the same brush as everyone else. And that's what he thinks is happening at the moment. And it's a valid point. It doesn't take much to put up a blog and then start using AI content. And before I forget, I've seen case studies where it just doesn't work. It might work for a short time, but it doesn't work in the long game. And it's basically far too much work to redo it any other way. So this where they are punishing Google right across the board for any slight hint that you are just putting content for the sake of putting content up. So his logic makes sense to me because Google will slap everyone right across the board. They may not do it on purpose, but they've done that for years, and they'll even if you go across, and I'm guessing there's a score somewhere. If you do certain things in a certain way, you create points, and those points don't slap you directly, but they drop you down. Imagine, negative point score. That's the way I see it, is you get a negative point for doing this, and you get a negative point for doing something else. And if you're too SEO focused, then you get negative points for that. And they then drop you down because they see that you're trying to not game the system, but you're doing certain things that people that are gaming the system are doing. So you get caught in the process. So his logic made sense to me. So that's one thing I believe that is going forward, that Google's always going to prioritize what they see as real businesses. And you can bet they're sitting around a table saying, well, a real business would have an e-commerce store, and that would be a real business. So we'll give extra points to them. Also, he noticed as well, which has been going around, that sites like Reddit and that have got a massive boost in the last change. And there's also, if you Google it, I think there's a $60 million deal between Google and Reddit at the moment. That won't take much Googling to find out. So I'm guessing that they're favoring that's human generated content. So that's another thing that's happening at the same time. So those have been my realizations. I'm also doing some more on the paid advertising side, looking more into the paid advertising because it is so quick and it drives keyword data. And I know, Tony, you've probably read the keyword process that I've got in there, how I ideally want to find the right keywords. So that is something I'm looking at a little bit more, doing some paid advertising for and testing it out. And it became blatantly obvious yesterday that you've got to have tracking and everything in place. It's quite interesting. One of my people I follow is a guy called Alex Hormozy, who's everywhere online, and I noticed him using tracking links in some of his YouTube videos. So he's obviously had advice to how you track these things, where you track them from, so he knows where things are spent. Tracking can be quite simple, it can be quite straightforward, but a lot of people and a lot of even web designers and technical people, they're overcomplicated. So yeah, that's the other learning I've had this week. Now, one more thing. So I'm going to jump into a screen for a second, and I'm going to show you something I've been playing with. Let me bring the screen up first. Get into the right one, Google Docs. I need a Google document first. Come on. Come on, it's early in the morning. Turn brain on. Right. All right, so let me get the share going right now. Where is it? All right, Tony, can you see the Google document on screen?
Yep, I can.
Okay, so I'll be honest, I've underestimated the power that's in actual Google Documents for writing things. Now, I'm not the fastest typer. Never take any formal lessons on what they call a hunt and peck, as most people are. You know where the keys are, you hunt and find them, and they go in. But I want to make the best use of my time, so I want to create more information, but actually not have to type it in details. And I've been using this for Google Scripts, for process for creating videos as a way of getting an outline of what I want quickly. So up here, we've got tools, and just find it. Voice typing. So this is comes native with Google Docs, and it allows me to literally type and go into the screen, and it will create it. So the accuracy is not fantastic, I'll tell you that right now. But the way I do it is I will clean it up afterwards, and I'll show you how to do this. Let's click to speak, and I'm just going to record it. Now I'm going to look down when I do this recording because otherwise I'll want to correct all the mistakes in the writing. So let's just hit this. Okay, so the key point with creating original content, even if we're using AI, you want to make sure that it is value for the reader and that it is key and focused. Many people try to make their content too wide. The content should solve a specific problem that the person is trying to solve and nothing more than that. Otherwise, you spread yourself too thin. Let me hit stop. Okay, so we've got this generally pretty much right. And it ensures that the value of the reader is key focus. Many people try the content. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to copy it. And let's see if I can get over to
The last 3 or 4 words and what you got to go where you said, let me hit stop.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you might want to get rid of the last 3 or 4 words.
Okay, so you can see I'm in ChatGPT now.
Yep.
So I want to fix the content, but I don't want to change the meaning or the word. So it's still my information, and I want to clean it up. So I'm going to write clean up my content, make it clear, and improve grammar. Don't change words, but break into paragraphs at a third grade English. And I'll put this in. All the spelling, I don't worry about anything to do this. It'll understand it with it, even but basic level. To understand.
My mother was a teacher, so I never had the option of spelling anything wrong growing up. Trust me.
Yeah, I agree with it in the past, but to be honest, it's the waste of our energy now. So let's just
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Okay, so it's cleaned it up. Let me stop. There you go. So now it's cleaned up and the content that I want is cleaned up. And I've used this for scripts for YouTube videos. I've used it for just about anything. And look, my grammar's not the greatest. I barely passed English at school, but this solves the problem and it makes it clear. Actually, I haven't told you this.
Yeah.
One of the first when I started with online marketing, I used to write a newsletter, and I sent one newsletter out. This is going back 10, 15 years, and I sent a newsletter out, and someone replied to it, said, "How can I trust your information because your grammar is so bad?" Like, ooh, ouch, that hurt. This solves that type of problem. I can be a stunning writer. I can have a process in place where I can write anything, and it's still my words. It's still clear. The reason I use third grade level is that's the best level to write for someone on the internet. It's just we don't need to try and impress people with big words. I don't see the point of that. You need just clear information that people can understand you, and actually it's still my voice. That's what, and I always wanted, there's a lot of AI going around. I still want it to be my voice. I'm passionate about these subjects. I'm interested in what they work and how they work. And how can we use the tools to our advantage? How can we, make it better? I think people, and as far as the AI space, there are people that are expecting it to take over jobs, and to some point, I think it will. But there'll be jobs come out where there's jobs
Yeah.
that exist now.
It'll,
You can be a prompt
yeah,
engineer.
yeah. As time goes on, we'll invent jobs. So
Yeah,
no
exactly.
worries there.
It's just a change in process. We started off with
Yeah.
a horse and a plow, and then we went to a tractor, and then there's tractor mechanics, all those things.
Hmm.
It's the same thing. So it's all going to change. So that's the things that I've been working on this week. I've been really tied up with some other projects, but this is the main thing. Do you have any questions or anything you've been going through, Tony? I can help with?
Yeah, I have one question. I meant to ask you one time before, and I forgot about it. When you're trying to do the Google profile, you take me for example. I have a home office in my
Mhm.
basement apartment, so I've got my desk. That's
Yeah.
it, a computer and printer and whatnot. It's in a house. I mean, Google's there saying go do a video showing us your street address and
Yeah. Okay.
the front of your business and your work area and what you sell.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do there.
Uh, so, okay, I'll run this through for anybody else who's doing it. Google, you're talking about Google Business Profile. They're getting really uh, pedantic with it. The other thing is they're getting really fussy with it. And I've had this before. Your best option in the current situation is to mark the one you've got as closed completely,
Hmm.
and start again. When you do it the first time and just start from scratch, they should ask you for a text message, and they'll send you a text message, and it should basically go pretty live straight away. Um, the reason I'm telling you to do it again is when you go and do that video, what will happen is we'll try and do the video. They'll then reject the video because it's not high enough quality. I have had this with clients before, and we basically just because the previous profiles didn't have any reviews in it, I said just start again. And when you put that profile up the first time, do the bare basics. It will let you take through it, and then leave it. Once you have it live, leave it for a good couple of weeks, even if the information is not correct. Just do a very bare basic listing, and
Hmm.
let it settle in. Because what happens if you, I'll tell you the exact story this came from. This we set up a profile for a client, and then he wanted to have it not say he was LGTB friendly. We went and changed it, and it just did what you just said, asked for a video and everything else. And we never got it. We never got it live again. You just need to set it clean, leave it settle for a while, go through the bare basics of getting that listing up. You don't need to go as far as detail with desk and the rest of it. Just get a website linked on it. Just get some basic information. Google what pictures go best in it. I've been using, I think I've shared this one, ideogram for my images. There it is. Uh, Amazing images. It's just you can use the free version, and it takes a little while. Do the bare basics of list up. I've been testing these ones out.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, like literally all you put your description and away you go. So there's quite a few there. See, these are all done as well. And they're all done on the free version. Money back guarantee. Created this whole logo, this whole thing from scratch
Hmm.
from a quote. So put up some nice images so you look like, and then just leave it and let it settle for a while. Um, and that's just basically what you've got to do, and write it out for a couple of weeks, and then make some changes afterwards if you want to make any changes or you want to correct it. But yeah, try to avoid them having to
Mm.
reassess it again. That's the best bet. You haven't got videos, if you haven't got where are we? If you haven't got any reviews, then you have nothing to lose. So, but
Yeah,
also just
true.
use your company. There's the one thing they'll ask you for your company name. Just put your listing,
Hmm.
and just put a basic company name. You don't have to keyword it or anything like that. They just want your
Hmm.
name and nothing else, and let it settle in. Let me know how you go with that.
I will.
All right. All right, I'm going to tie off because I've got to head out. Look, I hope you've got out of it, and I'm going to put this up in the group for everyone else. And probably turn it into a YouTube video as well. And I'm going to link out to
All
that.
right, sir.
I'm going to leave you to
Yep.
it. Hey,
Thanks. All
see
right.
you
Take care.
soon.
Have a good day.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.